Okay. Anyhow, now let you all understand, if all this pleasure comes, if all this wealth comes, what will you choose? It is up to you. If you choose enlightenment, now next steps are going to help you. Otherwise, you can be sitting here. I do not know how much it is going to help you. Having tested Nachiketa, Yama was convinced of his determination, his desirelessness, fearlessness, and worthiness to be taught the science of the soul. Before he spoke of the science of the soul, Yama elaborated on its significance. He said, the way to Shreya, all that moves one towards the ultimate goodness, is different from the way to Preya. All that moves one towards the pleasures of the world. Both of these ways bring different fruits, and both are entrapments, both are allurements, but the one that chooses the way to the ultimate good is blessed, and one that accepts the way to immediate pleasure will remain empty. In life, there are opportunities for both Shreya and Preya. The intelligent man discriminates between the two, and upon contemplating their nature, he understands the difference. He then chooses the way to ultimate good over the way to immediate pleasure, concerned for his security. The unintelligent one follows the way to immediate pleasures. Here you need to understand Shreya and Preya. Preya means the outwardly pleasure. Shreya means towards inner joy. One place he says both of entrapments. Both are entrapments. You have to drop even the inner pleasure at one step, the ultimate enlightenment. But it is much better to select Shreya than the Preya. It is much better to select inner pleasure than the outer pleasure. Nachiketa, you are free from desire. Having considered and understood, you have renounced the objectives of pleasure and sensuous enjoyment, both of this world and of the next. You have not fallen prey to the lure of riches by which most men are seduced. What is known as Vidya, right learning, and Avidya, wrong learning, each bring very opposite fruits. Nachiketa, I can see you have the longing for Vidya, because no amount of temptation for pleasures of the senses has deceived you. The foolish continue to believe themselves to be intelligent and learned. They will continue to suffer and to pass through the life forms of many species in the same way that the blind man who is led by the other blind people will always wander, will suffer, and will never reach to his destination. The beautiful sloka, it says, you are free from desire. This can be given only for a person who is free from desire. Having considered and understood, you have renounced the objectives of pleasure and sensuous enjoyment, both of this world and of the next. You have not fallen prey to the lure of riches by which most men are seduced. Everybody is seduced by the normal pleasure. You are not seduced.
When many of the rishis are in their deep penance and meditation, you hear Ramba, people coming to start.
One of our ashram brahmachari asked, Swamiji, I am also meditating, but nobody is coming. Nobody is coming, what to do? Actually, let me explain the whole thing. It is not that Ramba Urusi are coming physically. What exactly happens? The sense, the power to enjoy, the capacity to enjoy becomes more. The sense organ becomes more sensitive. And even in the meditation you can see many type of darshans you get, which gives you deep pleasure and joy. Many people get ecstasy. I again and again tell them, don't stop here. Go more, deeper and deeper. Don't stop here. Because if you stop there, you will start enjoying the heaven. You will not go towards the enlightenment. It is not that somebody is sending Ramba Urvasi. Who is there? And as if Indra has no other job. He himself needs more and more people. Why will he send on deputation to others? It is all just imagination. Only one thing will happen, that senses will become more sharp and more alive. That's what will happen. What is known as Vidya, right learning, and Avidya, wrong learning, each bring very opposite fruits. Nachiketa, I can see you have the longing for Vidya. Here they have typed as a Vidai. Vidya. Because no amount of temptation for pleasures of the senses has deceived you. He is praising the worthiness of the Nachiketa. Next statement is a beautiful statement. The foolish continue to believe themselves to be intelligent and learned. They will continue to suffer and to pass through the life forms of many species in the same way that the blind man who is led by other blind people will always wander, will suffer and will never reach to his destination. It is said about the intellectual pandits who only, I learned the other day yesterday, Vivekananda was telling, he know about some Swami who says there is no need for experience. Why experience Vedanta? Just study, that is enough. Just have knowledge, that is more than enough. There is no need to have the experience. I was just shocked. Can any authentic person who has read philosophy can say that there is no need for experience? And he is a popular figure. He is considered to be one of the religious preachers. He himself says, yes.
They also ask not to meditate.
See, Vedanta says every step meditate. The Upanishad says every step go inside and go for experience. And these few people, I don't want to tell the other person's name, and they go on preaching, there is no need for experience. Just learning is enough. If learning is enough means how it looks like, that you learn in that pot milk is there. That's all. What is the use in that pot milk is there? Unless you boil it and drink it and enjoy it, what is the use of knowing that there is a milk? But there are fools who think just intellectual knowledge is more than enough. The Upanishad is condemning that type of people. The foolish continue to believe themselves to be intelligent and learned. They will continue to suffer and to pass through the life forms of many species in the same way that the blind man who is led by other blind people. If the blind is led by the blind, what will happen? Both will fall into the ditch. And these blind people are leading so many blinds, I don't know how many are going to fall into the ditch. Will suffer and will never reach to his destination. You see, you yourself use a little bit of logic. Without experience, all these things are useful? What's the use of all these things without experience? And I do not know how any logical man can say that don't go for experience. Ananda Bhairava, what is the logic they give behind it?
They say meditation is postgraduate exam, which is unnecessary.
And then?
It's like a double degree. They say double degree, so don't go in for that.
What is the wrong with double degree?
I don't know. It's too high for
They are
us.
saying basic degree is enough for getting the job, so don't go postgraduate.
See, if you are only having basic degree, you will be always under their thumb, you see. That is the idea. The main problem is, they do not want the disciples to come up to their level.
They will
And-
be meditating.
huh?
They will be meditating.
Maybe, the secret.
Swamiji, they must not have achieved.
They must, see, man who achieved, how can he say all these things?
They can't say that.
Yes, tell me. You want to?
Just say something similar in the real world. I visited a hospital in Hyderabad, and there is an MRI there. And I said, where is this person? He says he always locks up and goes, and he will never teach anybody else. I said, why doesn't he teach anybody? He says he doesn't want anybody else to know. So he's the only one to be in control of the MRI, whereas we teach everybody over there in America.
See here, and yesterday the Vivekananda was telling me, to learn this Upanishad in these traditional monasteries, he went and stayed in some traditional monastery. And if God saved him, he escaped and came away. That is different. Some Vedanta monastery. He is telling me, you should have so much of qualification and then you should serve so many years. Only then they will let you open this book at all. Till that time they will never allow you to even read all these things. And the teacher will come with such a big suitcase, tons of books to teach you. Seeing the book itself, you will be frightened. I am shocked to see even now people speaking no need for knowledge, Just be, no need for any experience. Just become a pandit, that's enough. What to do? Those type of foolish people are only condemned in this sloka. Don't be caught by the just by the knowledge. That's the problem, you see. This is one of the important reasons why India got totally destroyed. Yesterday, the Anand Bhairava was asking me. I was telling you yesterday here now that the Joshi Math is done by Shankara. This Peetham is done for himself, but it got destroyed by the Mughal people. Then Anand Bhairava was asking me, after all, Shankara is enlightened. Can't he foresee this thing? Now I have an answer. Maybe like these fools, instead of like this fool sitting and occupying the throne, better the throne be destroyed so that his name will not be spoiled. That may be the decision the Shankara decided. Instead of this type of fools, there is no need for experience. Just have intellectual knowledge. If this type of people come and sit on the throne and become Peethadipati and start preaching, what will you all do? You will all think only that is true.
So many they are intellectuals. They must be knowing Vedanta means the experience. Vedanta means the end of the knowledge. It's experience only.
First of all, they should understand. See what I am telling. If this type of people sit on the throne and start preaching Shankara philosophy, what will happen? Only Shankara's name will be spoiled and people will be misguided. Maybe Shankara thought instead of these people sitting on the throne, better let the whole throne be destroyed. Who knows? Maybe. Because what name he mentioned and what name Vivekananda mentioned, all are Shankarites only. Shankarites only. Talking that there is no need for any experience. Just read, that's enough. Then libraries will become enlightened. Libraries will become God. If just reading is enough, then we can have a big library and worship every day morning. Library knows everything. Then what is the use? Anyhow. Now, Yama is leading the Nachiketa towards the experience. I tell you one secret, you understand, ma? If you have some 20 thoughts, you will be possessing only the heart area. If you have more thoughts, you will be catching the Manipuraga. If you have some 100 thoughts per minute, for example, you will be catching all your Manipuraga, Anagata, Muladhara, Swadhisthana, everything strongly. The number of thoughts, if it becomes less, first you will release Muladhara and Swadhisthana. Then you will release Manipuraga. Then you will release Anagata. Even then the thoughts are getting again and again lesser and lesser. Then you will fall into Anandagandha. The number of thoughts and the number of chakras which you are holding are very closely related. You can say for average 21 thoughts. The speed per minute, if you have only 21 thoughts, you will be catching only Anagata. If the speed is 42, you will be catching Manipuraga also. If the speed is then 21 more, you will be catching Swadhisthana. The speed is 21 plus, you will be catching Muladhara. If the number of thoughts becomes less and less, you will automatically fall into. If it becomes less than 21, you automatically fall into Anandagandha. No. Once the thought becomes less, what will happen? Naturally you fall into Anandagandha only. Then we will enter into the 4th chapter, alight with the inner fire. Step by step, we will see the teachings.